Saraya O'Connell, Tom Hitchcock. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. You've got a Friday smile on you today, but it's not Friday.
It's not Friday, it's Tuesday. I wish it was Friday, but it's the end of the day. I can't complain too much when it's the end of the day.
Fair play. Well, you had a good Friday last Friday.
I did, but you had an even better one. So I'm there every Friday. So why don't you tell me about your Friday and I'll tell you if it was good.
Well, I went to this lovely hotel, which was had a social impact component to it, which lamented the experience, shall I say. And I had a great time. It's very good. So thank you very much for the hospitality and everything that went
You're
on.
very welcome.
I do appreciate that. But anybody listening to this has no idea what we're talking about. So you're going to have to explain yourself. Why don't we go straight into hit the nail on the
Dive
head?
straight in.
What's this hotel? What is it you do?
Hotel Etico Australia is Australia's first not-for-profit social enterprise hotel. We employ and train young people with a disability in the hospitality industry. We're a live-in program, so we're a one-year live-in program for people with a disability. And then the second year is we actually work with industry and place them into employment. So we're pathways, an early intervention into employment, should I say. But we're a hotel, first and foremost. So we are a business. We're a social enterprise. We're a business for good. And we have 15 rooms, beautiful bar, beautiful live music. You got to experience it on a Friday, so you got to see all the magic happen. But that is what Hotel Etico is. It's so much more than that, and it's so hard to put into words what Hotel Etico is, but until you walk through the doors, you don't know.
Okay, well, for those people that thinking this is a good idea and would like to visit, the hotel itself, it's standalone, is beautiful anyway. It's a nice spot in the Blue Mountains, well worth a visit for anybody. But given that there's a social impact program there, it really, really adds to the experience. And I think one of my big takeaways when you gave me the tour wasn't just the customer service and the program itself and how much it was benefiting these individuals, but it was the living component, okay, because there's a lot of skills, basic life skills that most of us take for granted.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's really step by step to make sure that they can live independently from their carers, their family, or whatever, as well as then going employed.
Absolutely. So the living component is, so we train the hospitality side of things, absolutely, and they work there and they live there. But the live-in part of it is they actually learn to live independently, with support. So it's kind of like a big share house. I don't know, when you moved out of home, did you live on your own or did you move into like a share house?
So actually, I was talking about this with a couple of people at the bar. So there's a couple of British people there, and it's a little bit different to Australia. So when I went to university, everybody moves away. You move away, and half of what you learn at uni is living on your own, going to the pubs, making mistakes, and all the stuff that goes with it, and occasionally a little bit of a lecture. And it had that sort of feel to it.
I love that you say occasionally a lecture. So we do more than an occasional lecture. We do a lot of training, but it's 100% that. So it's learning, they learn how to budget. They learn how to read their pay slip. They learn how to read their contract. They learn how to cook for themselves. They learn how to make their lunch. They learn how to be on time to work, which is a big thing. They have to get their own uniforms ready. They're in charge of their own washing, their own cleaning. They have a roster, like they have a roster of who does what chores, and they have to rotate them. And they actually learn those skills. And we break those tasks down. So like, even though I say they learn those skills, we break it down into task by task, how to pack a dishwasher, how to do all of that. And we make visuals for it. Like we actually do the repetitiveness. And then when they go home, so they're only on site 3 days a week. And when they go home, they have to do those skills at home as well. So we get the families are a really big support to us, and they do it with them, and they report back, and they all send photos in the group chat of what they've accomplished while they're at home, and then when they come to work, it's really cool. But yeah, it's a massive share house. And I think one of the hardest things about when you move out of home is also living with other people. Mm-hmm. That's massive, especially for somebody with a disability, but learning to live with other people is huge. So yeah, they learn a lot in the academy. Absolutely.
You're right. Well, it's bad enough when they say living with someone is when you get to really know them in a relationship. It usually makes or breaks a relationship at the moment. So it's toilet
100%.
seat up or something,
Yeah,
and a slightly different persona. So in this context, yes, the social environment really helps. And what I did like, and I didn't pick up on this before, is when they're taking these sort of microscopic life skills back home for part of their week, is you actually teach them how to make these skills transferable. So it isn't
100%.
just in that certain environment. It's something you do everywhere.
We say that a lot. We say if you can make the bed in the academy, if you can make your bed at home, you can make a bed in a hotel room. Given when you're making a bed in the hotel room, you have like hospital corners, not even I can master. But it's transferable. Like if you're cooking in the kitchen for guests, you're cooking it in the academy for your peers. If you're making up a room and cleaning a bathroom, you're doing that for your peers. So it's really, really important that it's life skills. Hospitality is transferable life skills. Customer service is transferable. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And how long has this program been going for?
So we're on our 4th intake now. So 3 years the program's been running. We opened COVID, a great time to open a hotel, but we were ready. So 3 years. So we're still a baby, but we're making such big impact, and we've grown over that time significantly.
Okay. And what are the growth plans? So, I've seen firsthand how the concept works, how it isn't necessarily, dare I say, a sympathy scenario. It's a scenario that works and flourishes. Okay. So it's green ticks all round. What's the plans to roll it out further?
So we want to be present in every state and territory in the next 10 years, and we're actively working at the moment to secure a second site. We're looking at options and so on. So fingers crossed we will have another site. I would say, I keep saying this year, but I'm assuming with the way things go, it's probably going to be next year, considering we're already in September. But yeah, we're looking for our second site now. We've got a bold expansion plan. Like, it works. So our model works. So we don't see why we can't expand nationally.
Okay. And so I suppose that'll be a jet set lifestyle for you, going around, business class all the way.
Oh, yeah, work for a not-for-profit and totally fly business class for sure. Yeah, we've been traveling a bit at the moment. We've partnered with Destination New South Wales recently to deliver how to be an employer of choice, so how to be more inclusive in the workplace. So I was jet setting around for a little bit, but yeah, we are looking at other sites, so it's a little bit of travel.
Okay. All right. So what would you say that's fair to say? So we've got the individuals that go for the program, we've got the business and the social enterprise component of it. Do you feel that this is the beginning of changing attitudes to stigmas and breaking down barriers?
I do. We work with a lot of employment partners, and they really come along the journey. Like, they really want to be inclusive. I think that disability employment has changed so much. It's no longer, segregated. It's no longer people pay award wage now. It's come a long way. There's still so much to go, don't get me wrong. But it's breaking down those barriers. So we actually help the employers to break down those barriers. And that's when you see the industry change, because if you're helping one industry partner, you're helping another industry partner, and you're helping another industry partner. And then, that person who's currently working with us goes to another company, and then they break down barriers again in that company to release it. So it all starts with breaking down the barriers in the industry, and then they all come to the journey.
Okay. And do you feel it's changed you somewhat?
Yes, Edico's changed me massively. So when I started at Edico, I was really lost. Like, I had actually lost my passion for disability. I had been working in, big companies, big NDIS providers, which I won't name. I worked for some NDIS therapy companies, and it was really becoming a point where it was very much corporate. It was becoming very corporate. And don't get me wrong, I don't know if it was corporate, but there was no passion there. There was no outcomes for people. It was, the traditional disability space, and I had lost my passion completely. And then I went to Hotel Etico and found it, and it's just been growing and nonstop. And like, I cry at every graduation. Like, I've really, like, I get messages from our graduates. Like, I've got a conference tomorrow, and 2 of our graduates are coming just to be with us during the day and stuff. So yeah, it's really changed me.
And sorry to probe on this one. How has it changed you?
I think I had lost the ability to see the good in the disability space. I had really lost that people actually care. And I'm a very big, like, I go on a lot of empathy, so I care quite deeply for people. And I just felt like I had lost kind of that side of myself a little bit. Like, I was just running, and I was running to nowhere. And I just felt like, you know, I started in the disability space when I was 19, and I just felt like I was always running and running and running, but never getting anywhere. And then it completely opened my eyes that people actually do care about people with a disability, and people really will fight for inclusion. So I really lost that.
Okay, all right. So there's a re-engagement for you, which is nice. Okay, you probably added some much needed realignment on purpose for you. But by the sounds of it, this motivation is quite extrinsic. Okay, so it's by observing other people, and for want of better terminology, the other people actually giving a shit. Okay?
Yes. I was 100% convinced I wasn't going to swear on this podcast today, by the way, Tom. So do not tempt me.
Too late. I've already broke the seal on that one. So okay, so it's watching people giving a shit, which is fantastic. But would you say then that the people that come to visit the hotel, let's just say they're there for one night, like myself, okay, is there enough of a caring component just in that one trip that is enough to sort of buoy you and there's an impact on them?
So I see it all the time. So when you walk into Hotel Etico, you see disability for the first, 5-10 minutes. Well, I mean, you're greeted with disability. We don't just promote that we are, a social enterprise that hires and trains people with disability. Like on booking.com, I don't even know if you can see that, but I've seen the change in people where they literally will walk in and see disability, and then 15 minutes later they're at the bar, they're being served, and it's like normal setting. Like, people that have a disability can work in hospitality, and there you actually see the change. I love staying back on Friday night and watching it. And I love watching the guests come through that don't know that we are a social enterprise. Like, I love that feeling. And I've had conversations with guests that, they're like, oh, we had no idea, this is amazing. And, I had no idea that somebody with a disability could work behind the bar or in the kitchen. And I'm like, well, can you? Absolutely. So I think, if there was a little bit more of that in, like, my daughter's age, people seeing people with a disability included everywhere, then I think we wouldn't have to break down so many barriers now.
Yeah, and I think you're right, because I think I observed some of it myself and obviously experienced some of it myself. So it's a high impact and quite a rapid impact. So yes, it'll give you lots of job fulfillment, sit back and watching it. Devil's advocate here. Have you ever had any complaints about it?
About disability, about the people that have a disability? Not really, no. Not really. We've had complaints like anybody, like that you can't please everybody. Like, the kettle didn't work, or the whole of Mount Victoria was in a blackout. So we've had
or there's a man in the pond.
I don't think any guests saw that man in the pond, but we haven't really. Maybe once, I think there was a confrontation between one of our trainees and a guest. The guest wasn't really happy, but our trainee handled it perfectly. And I don't think that he can't please everybody, but no, not really. People are pretty forgiving. Most people are forgiving. Although sometimes I go and get customer service and it's horrendous, but people forgive anything. People are allowed to make mistakes. Like if somebody drops a glass or if somebody drops a plate of food, it's generally, we just make mistakes. We all do it. So no, but there have been complaints. I mean, we're an old building, so once we had a blackout, can't really do much about that. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think perhaps you should use as part of your training the episodes of Faulty Towers. So this is how not to do it.
I love Faulty Towers. I often refer to it as Faulty Towers, mostly because of the building. Like nothing, something can go wrong at any time. It's a heritage listed building, but it makes it for more fun. You mean, the thing is with people with a disability is that, adaptability is something that we work on really, really hard with people, because when you work in the hospitality sector, you have to be adaptable. It gets really busy or it gets really slow or people are unhappy or whatever. So you have to be adaptable. So it really just adds to the character of what we're trying to teach. So, yeah.
Okay. And dare I ask then, so let's just get a little bit more into Saraya herself then, because, we've gone head in on the hotel and the concept, but I really want to get a bit of a flavour for yourself. So what got you into disability in the first place?
So my cousin, and I hope he doesn't watch this because it's a compliment to him and he's like my little brother, so we don't give each other compliments. So my cousin has muscular dystrophy. I moved down to Sydney and I didn't really know my cousin very well. But then when I moved to Sydney, I got to know him really well. And then I was working in hospitality. I was working 3 jobs. I was living out of home. I was, working in hospitality. And then the opportunity to go into disabilities presented itself. And I kind of looked at him as a role model. So he's in a wheelchair. And I watched him go from primary school to high school. And I just watched people not include him in things. And so I never wanted that to be, I never thought I would go into disability. Where I grew up, there wasn't much disability. But after seeing his journey from primary school to high school and so on, I kind of decided that to make people be more inclusive. So he was the reason I went into disability. He was the reason that I found a passion for it. But don't tell him I said that, because
that's what
he'll get a big head and it's already big enough.
Well, we make sure that he does listen to this because it's recorded. That's a whole premise behind it. So unfortunately, I can't make that promise.
He wouldn't recognize me because I'm being nice to him. I'm not insulting him. So.
You think you're AI generated or something? Yeah.
That's totally it. Yeah.
Okay. And what other things sort of get you going outside of work and this sector, I guess?
So I have a 10-year-old. 10-year-old daughter. Her name is Lila, and she's beautiful. She's amazing. She's sassy. She has my sarcastic, smart-ass attitude, which is great at 10 years old. But I think she motivates me quite a bit. She comes to work with me a lot in the school holidays, and she always motivates me to be better, even when I'm tired or anything like that. But yeah, so I spend a lot of time with her, and parenting is hard. I don't know if there's much more to it, but yeah, so I parent, I'm an outdoorsy person, so I camp or I fish, and I just do that sort of thing to kind of wind down. This is a pretty big job, so anything outside of that, I gym. Generally, I'm a homebody as well. Like, I really like to be in my own space. I'm an introvert, which you wouldn't know if you met me at work, but I am an introvert. So I love to just, like, when I walk in that door, I'm just a goner. I'm trash television, you name it on that TV, and I just sit there for hours, or I'll read a good book.
Okay, all right. So there's 2 sides going on there as well. I do love the passion behind the parenting. Yes, it comes with challenges, but that's where the rewards are. As you know, my son's also 10 as well, and sometimes
it's a hard age. It is a hard age.
But I think you're right when you said it's which you said prior to this meeting. It's different for guys and girls. Okay?
Yeah, 100%.
So yes, my son's got a bit of cheek in him and that, but he's pretty quickly shot down. I think your sassy young lady is going to be quite different. I reckon she stands up to you a lot more.
Oh, she does. She stands up for herself. So like she was getting picked on by one of her friends, and we're at that crucial age where I'm trying to teach her what a good friend is, which is really hard when you're in primary school, right? Because you just don't know. And like she was being picked on quite hard, and she stood up for herself, and I was quite proud of it. But then there are some times where she won't stand up for herself, and I'm like, oh, you get there, but it's tough. It's really tough. She's a bit brutal when she stands up for herself, so I kind of need to tell her to rein it in a little bit, but I am her mother, so.
And do you find, so this is a bit of an interesting thing. So I find being a parent that there's synergies between how I do my work and what I do with my passion and purpose and all that. I find there's lots of synergies there. Well, yes, we've got a personal, professional life, okay? But parenting for me always seems to bridge the gap somehow. Okay, it's a motivation for me to do well professionally. It's like you've got social impact. You've already addressed. I wish there's more of this for my daughter's age, for example, so people can learn from that. Do you find there's a bit of that for yourself?
Oh yeah, I want to be a role model to Lila. I want her. She can do whatever she wants when she grows up, for sure. But I want her to have the same level of passion as I do. So I want her to be a role model. I remember her coming home from school and saying that, which made me just melt in my chair when she was telling me. She was telling me that somebody with a disability was being picked on at school. And I had to explain to her that, it probably wasn't necessarily that child's fault that he was picking on somebody with a disability, but it probably is just unfamiliar with disability, and that, because disability is so front and center in our life, that for her, for this other person, this other child that, didn't know how to act around somebody with a disability or something, like I had to explain that to her, and that was really tough. Lila actually said to me, she was like, well, that's just stupid. Like everybody, it doesn't matter if they have a disability or not, they can join, they can do whatever. And to me, I was just like, my heart was so full. But trying to explain to her that that's not always the case, and it's just about education. So like instead of shooting down this person that was picking on something, you just educate them. So yeah, that was a big light bulb moment for me, that I was that role model for her. Not that she probably admitted, I don't think.
Do you reckon that obviously, I think what you guys do well is you find gaps in the market and you fix problems and in a particular sector. Do you think you could probably extend this further so there is components where people can work within schools or within youth groups to sort of break down those barriers, which is something you picked on earlier?
Yeah, there's some great programs. I actually came across one the other day that there was a great program that they go into schools and start educating. We want to start going into schools. We've been going to the career expos. We noticed that not a lot of people with a disability will go to the local career expos because, when you leave school and there's no real transition plan, but we noticed that there wasn't a lot of people with a disability going because there was nothing suited to them. But I think that's starting to change. So you're starting to see, if you're going into schools, there's a transition, there's something that can be done. So yeah, we are looking at those gaps. We're trying to fill those gaps. But we're only a baby, and there's only so much you can do at one time. But yeah, there's so much change that needs to happen. We'll go down.
So there we are. Watch this space.
Watch this space. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So anybody listening to this where your story and what you do resonates with them and they want to reach out and say hello, okay, what would be the best way for them to contact you?
Me directly on LinkedIn, or they can go to our website. Our email addresses are on the website, or you can call the hotel. We're open 7 days a week, so you can get to any one of us at any time. So yeah, they can call the hotel, our website, Utility for Australia, LinkedIn, Instagram. I have a work Instagram. You can find me. I'm pretty accessible.
Fantastic. All right. Well, listen, thanks a lot for your time. It's been lovely hearing your story and what you're doing, and I'll keep up the good work, I guess, isn't it?
Thank you. Thanks for coming to experience it.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you did enjoy it, had lots of takeaways from it. As before, please subscribe below so you can keep on top of any new releases we have. And also, if you would like to have your story told, just reach out with me and I'd love to give you that platform. My best email address is tom@purplepatchconsulting.com. Thank you.